Now that we've heard both sides of the Daniel Holtzclaw story, we brought in Nancy Grace, executive producer of a new crime movie, Deadly Estate, on Hallmark Movies and Mysteries, and criminal defense attorney Mark Eiglarsh. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Nancy, was justice served?
The reality is, to believe him, you would have to disbelieve 13 women. And the fact that they are low-income, African-American, makes it even worse.
Did he get a proper defense in this case?
See, that's what she's missing. It's
No,
not
I'm
whether
not
he
missing
did
anything.
it. No, Nancy. You know that appeals are not about whether they did it or they didn't.
Don't tell me what I know.
It
first
is
of all.
about whether he was given a fair trial as guaranteed under the 6th Amendment of the Constitution. And in this case, there was prosecutorial misconduct.
No, there wasn't.
All over this case.
Okay, let me interject just one second.
True.
What this happened in the shadow of Ferguson and Baltimore. The Oklahoma City Police Department was under pressure to deal with this.
No, let me straighten you out. No offense, okay?
No offense taken.
There are 13 women that claim this young man
She's missing the point again.
targeted them, and their stories are backed up, one of them by her DNA on his crotch.
But Nancy,
in
you
his
know
zipper.
intellectually
I don't get you to.
that if I touch your hand, I have touched DNA of
She
yours,
hasn't
and I
addressed
touch
that.
my pants, it could be on
Okay,
there.
and add
That's
that,
true, right?
and add
Okay,
that.
you don't deny that.
Remotely
You don't deny that.
possible.
She doesn't
Remotely
admit yes.
possible.
Well, did they test the rest of his pants? Did
Actually,
No, see, they didn't
That's
test.
isn't
They didn't test, Nancy. No, I will not let you mislead the public like the prosecutors misled these jurors. Their own expert didn't say vaginal fluids, they just said DNA. So once again, tack that on to the things that prosecutors said in closing, that was grossly
Okay,
misleading,
give me
denying him a
one
fair
good
trial.
reason.
They did not test anywhere else, but in closing argument, they argued there was no DNA found anywhere but in the area where the quote, penis
okay,
came out.
I'm out of
let me-
here.
let-
I'm not
okay,
having
okay,
that in my
okay,
face.
okay, I'm
or
not gonna
you
do that,
yelling
but
in
let
my
me-
ear.
okay,
Okay.
Okay, let me, no,
Hold on.
No,
none of that. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. All I'm saying
Okay.
is, this was a very racially charged environment.
Yeah, because he attacked all black females. Explain to me Janie Liggins that neither one of you want to talk about.
I'll talk about it.
Okay, fine.
I agree with you. I agree with you. There's no motive there.
A grandma.
She's the first. I don't disagree with you. And I'm saying that the jurors found her to be credible and believable. And they may have found many of the others credible and believable. But the issue for a new trial was whether the process was fair. Let's talk about the process, not whether he's guilty or not.
Mark, what about this? What about this point, though? 13 women. Where the smoke this far?
Oh, he's finally agreeing with me. I smell it.
And I will agree with you and him that when you have that many women saying that this guy did something inappropriate,
Because
it's
he
bad.
did.
Which strengthens my argument that there may have been ineffective assistance of counsel, meaning his attorney didn't even move to separate the offenses.
Okay.
He said, sure, you want to bring them all in? The minute he
That's
did
not the
that,
law.
this guy was denied a fair trial.
Did
and
he
not
get
given-
did he get a good defense?
I think it was ineffective.
One of the witnesses was under the influence of PCP when she testified.
That's true, and that is a problem. However, I believe that the jury chose to believe the women over Holtzclaw, who never had the guts to take the stand. So there you go.
Well,
But is that Holtzclaw or his defense attorney?
what's his defense attorney? And
That's not true.
add that to the list of things that
That's
may.
not true, because in court, in this case, the judge asked Holtzclaw, do you agree, outside the presence of the jury, do you agree with your lawyer
I
that you're not
defend people
taking the
for a
stand?
living. They're going to do what I tell them to do, and it's
Well,
on the defense
I'm sorry
lawyer.
to hear
okay,
that.
but back to your question. There's a significant problem with the credibility of a lot of these witnesses. There were different descriptions. I mean, there were about 7 people who came forward and said that they were molested by this guy, and it wasn't true at all.
This is what happened. One victim came forward, Janine Liggins. A previous victim had already come forward saying a cop molested her, but she didn't know who it was. At that point, the police department started looking at when Holtzclaw would, for no reason, start running background checks on women, and then he would then do a database for warrants, and then they would match it up with the GPS, and then they would go to that location and knock on the door.
It is a
because
roadmap.
all of that technology supported the women.
Based upon the GPS.
The GPS is not very favorable for the defense. He didn't.
Whoa!
Listen, Nancy, I started the segment off saying I don't know if he's guilty or not.
It places him at the scene of the crime.
But he admits he was there. In this case, I have a problem with them going into people's homes, some of them saying, no, he never touched me, and eventually they're thinking, well, wait a second, there could be a payday here.
Just one
There's
of
a
them
civil
did that.
lawsuit that they initiated during trial, and all they have to do is say, yes, I'm part of the group. That is a problem for me.
As they should. A cop rapes you or sodomizes you.
I don't disagree with you.
You're darn right you should file a civil lawsuit.
I don't disagree with you, but then that taints their
then
testimony.
Why are you talking about it?
It taints their testimony. You're looking at it now where they've got a motive.
And
They have an
defense
interest in
can
the
ask them
outcome.
about that on cross-exam. At least they got cross-examined. Holtzclaw never had the spine to get up on the witness stand.
Oh, it's so easy to do, Nancy.
Okay, let's take a quick break, and coming up, I'll ask Nancy and Mark the million-dollar question: does Daniel Holtzclaw get a retrial?